Okay. Jodi, what is your response to this comment from a parent? My kid has tons of talent. I don't think they should just be having fun.
I think my initial response is that if your kid has tons of talent, the most important thing is that they should be having fun. And I think the reason for that is that if your kid is talented, they will always find their way to participating in the sport. But if they're not having fun, they're not going to want to participate. So what is it that powers your kid is probably the most important question that you can ask. Because ultimately what we want in the high performance system is to have the talented kids stay involved. So if having fun or just having fun is what it takes, then I'm all for making sure that your kid is just having fun.
Okay, I'm totally gonna go with Tom Cruise and dance on the couch. Like, that has to be a video. That.
Yeah.
Okay?
Can we actually get that one over? Just because
Yeah.
there was like a little...
Was I jiggling and making noise?
No, there's
No, I've
just a
got
tiny
some
slip up in the
moments
words.
yeah.
But that response is
That's like,
funny.
it's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, you could do this for a living. Okay, one more time. What is your response to this comment from a parent? My kid has tons of talent. I don't think they should just be having fun.
I think my response to that question is that if your kid has lots of talent, the most important thing is that they be having fun. Because talented kids will always find their way to participating in higher levels of sport. They'll always get that invitation. But if they don't want to participate, then they're not going to show up. And so if just having fun is what it takes to keep them coming back, then I'm all for that, because in the high performance system, what we want is to keep the talented kids involved.
How can I recognize whether my child is in a developmentally appropriate sport program?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to do is educate yourself a little bit about what's expected at the developmental stage that your kid is at. So you do need to know what is appropriate, and there are some tools that you can use to help you find that out. The sports long-term athlete development model that your child is involved in, or even the generic long-term athlete development model that Canadian Sport for Life puts out, are good tools that give you a one-page checklist for what you should expect at each stage of development in the long-term athlete development model. So that can be one place to start. And then the other things that you need to look for as a parent are, is what the sport program, so the other things that you need to look for as a parent are, does the program communicate to you what its goals are? And do you feel like those are developmentally appropriate for your child? And once you know what those goals are, is the sport actually living and measuring and keeping track of the things that they say matter? So an example of that might be if a program tells you that their main focus is skill development at the learn to train stage, and that there will be an appropriate ratio of competition to training, and that the training will involve mostly skill development, then you should go to practice and you should be able to see that that's happening and that it's being done in a way that engages the kids, makes them smile, keeps them moving. And if you don't see that, then they're probably not measuring what matters.
Oh my God, I gotta go into this. Can you, I'm going off the script here, but could you share with us your thinking on the notion that excellence takes time?
I think excellence takes time is one of the 10 key factors in the Canadian Sport for Life long-term athlete development model that influence athlete development. And when we talk about it, we often talk a lot about how much time it takes to develop excellence. And a lot of my thinking lately has gone more to thinking a little bit about excellence. And that's a lot to do with what I see happening at the community sport level and at the provincial sport level over the last year when I've moved more into working in those realms. And it really has me thinking about how people define excellence. And I see a lot of young athletes and coaches working with young athletes who define excellence as an outcome. So it is the win. And when you look at the long-term athlete development model, in fact, the only time when we talk about the importance of winning is at the train to win stage. And that's a very, very tiny portion of anyone's athletic career. And many, many people don't really participate in that part of the pathway. So I think we do ourselves a bit of a disservice when we talk about excellence as an outcome across the board, because the truth is that even at the train to win level, in my experience, the outcome is definitely what we're all striving for, but it's not the reason anyone shows up. So even at that level, excellence is more process oriented, and in fact, in order to win, you need to be more process oriented. It really, I think, to me, speaks to the importance of defining and communicating and living excellence in those terms at the lower levels of performance.
Awesome. What is the difference between physically active